Just the other day, I was talking with a member of our community about change, and we both agreed that change itself is hard. But here's the thing that really got me thinking, is it's not so much about the goal or the change we want to make that's hard. It's in the getting there. And I know you might think, well, of course, like, duh. It's not the thing that I want that's hard. It's that how do I get to that thing that makes it really difficult. And change is something that we talk a lot about in therapy, right? Like, I want to change my relationship with food. I want to change my relationships. I'd like to change the way I interact with people at work or at school or how I interact with myself. I want to change that. When we try to change, there's this huge piece that I will even be honest is kind of obvious, but something that I didn't really consider. And that is the want to change. Then how do we stay motivated? Because I think we'd all agree when we're like building this bridge over from where we're at to where we want to be, those first few steps can be really slippery. It can feel like a slide, like we're walking up. We try something for a few days or a few weeks. We don't get the results we want. The motivation wanes and we fall back. We've always thought that dopamine motivates us, and that's partially true. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in our brain that is part of our reward center. Now, reward center is essentially, when surprisingly something just goes really well, you have like a great day, you feel so motivated. Let's say you've been really, really, really working to give this presentation at work, and then you just kill it and you get maybe they even give you an actual reward. If we get that releases dopamine in our brain and triggers our reward system, and we feel good and we feel better, and it makes us want to do it more, essentially because we want to get that hit again, that dopamine hit. It feels so good. Over time, that dopamine hit wanes and we have to do kind of more. It's almost like tolerance when it comes to addiction. We have to do more to get that same reward feeling. And so we're doing, and it's just not enough anymore. They find that in order to sustain, you shouldn't have to keep doing more. You just need to set up some small goals along the way. Those do help keep us motivated. It's talking about improving our relationships. And along the way, we're like, you know what? I'd really like to see this person more. So we make a point of it. Now, let's say during that hangout, not only is that our reward, right? We're like, ooh, it went well, I had a good time. But let's say, surprise, surprise, when we show up, they are so excited about something we did. They complimented us. It went really well. They were super communicative. We felt energized again. We were reminded why we were such close and good friends with this person. Let's just say that happens. Not only is it rewarding because we had that small goal along the way. I want to get in touch with this person a little bit more. And we've been doing that. Check that box. Yes. But then also getting together with them was just that much more rewarding and valuable and fulfilling that we get an extra hit. It's almost like dopamine, rocket ship to the moon. We get more in our system, and that surprise of it makes it even more valuable. And another thing that research shows is to mix it up. If we keep doing, like I said, the same thing, expecting this reward, but we don't feel, even though we see kind of our progress, we don't feel as motivated. We reach a plateau and then we usually give up because it's not as rewarding and we stop seeing the progress for what it is. The best thing to do is to try different things, try something new. Don't be stagnant. Don't do the exact same thing. The whole goal is to kind of mix it up so that we continue to get that dopamine hit and we continue to feel rewarded, which keeps us motivated. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is fear. Psychological research proves how motivating fear can be. You can think about it even like in a scary movie, right? Somebody goes, ah, and the person runs away, right? That fear, threat to physical safety or emotional safety. I want to get out of there. I'm going to run. And we take off and we get out. It's motivating. It helps us move and do things. This fear is like a prediction. Right? Our brain is making predictions all the time. It's kind of what our stress response is made to do. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, right? It's preparing us to either take action or to do what we need to do to stay safe. But it can hold us stuck where we are because a lot of times fear doesn't show us what to avoid. It tells us where we need to grow. Fear just shows us kind of the limitations we've placed on ourselves. And in order to move through, to make that ultimate change, we have to break through it and we have to do the thing we're scared to do. It might mean we fall down. and hurt. Like, I went downhill mountain biking with Sean for the first time in 10 years when we were in Bend, Oregon, like last month. And I fell down and scraped up my leg. I'm fine. I was wearing protective gear. I had a helmet on. I was scared, but I was proud of myself for doing it. I was one of only, 3 women that I saw on the mountain. Yeah, I felt good about it. Even though it didn't turn out perfectly, I faced my fear. I did it anyways. And I feel better because of it. And that reward, I told anybody who would listen to it about that situation for like a week. So just know that sometimes fear can be limiting. Sometimes fear stands in between the us we are and the us we want to be. So when you find yourself a little scared, do yourself a favor and consider, is this fear actually something that could harm me? Or is it something I'm afraid could cause me some distress? Because without a little challenge, a little distress, we aren't going to be able to make that change and to become the person that we want to be. And I want all of you to become the person that you want to be. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of guts and a little bit of facing that fear and a lot of motivation. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. And feel free to leave in the comments, is there anything that's really helped you make change? Anything that you think I left out, or something, some tip or tidbit that was really beneficial for you? Leave it in the comments down below.